Hello, thanks for taking a moment to click on this video. During this time, I'm going to share with you why I think meditation is such an incredibly valuable thing to be doing for our mental health and how we navigate this unusual world we're living in. And then share with you a really simple process if you do want to try out this kind of practice that you can begin taking yourself through. So, with this meditation, where I think it is specifically so valuable is increasing our awareness of our thought patterns so we more readily notice when our mind is moving towards states of stress or worry or overwhelm or anxiety. Then with that in mind, as we begin to become more aware of when our mind is moving towards this state, we develop this inherent ability to respond to it in a completely different way and respond in a way that is so much more conducive to getting our mind back into a good space. The other area that is so transformative and has been so valuable for me is our self-talk. We have a very critical and judgmental self-talk these days, and many of us can struggle with that conversation taking place in our mind. And meditation and mindfulness for me has been the one thing that's really transformed that experience, that conversation, that relationship that I have with myself in my head. So kicking things off, why meditation is so powerful. What you're actually doing when you meditate is attempting to focus your attention on something. Focus on your breathing, focus on your body, a visualization, whatever it may be. If you've ever tried meditating, what you may have discovered, and what I certainly discovered when I started doing this, is it's pretty hard to focus your attention. You start there, you focus on your breathing for a moment, suddenly you get distracted by life, relationships, work, whatever it may be, things come into our mind. Eventually you realize you're distracted. You become aware, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that mindfulness thing, and you move your attention back for a moment. And when I started with this mindfulness practice, I thought, goodness me, I am terrible at this. My attention is so poor, I can hardly focus. My mind is running around all the time. It kind of was uncomfortable to just be in silence like that and just be listening to that thought process. And for a while I thought, wow, maybe this practice isn't necessarily for me. I can't quite connect with this. And then during my journey of being quite persistent with it and continuing the practice, because I could inherently feel it was going to be of value to my experience, what I came to realize is it's not actually in those moments where we're focusing our attention and when we're really focused that we're getting a lot of benefit to our mental health. It's actually in the moment that we get distracted, realize that we're distracted and move our attention back that we get great benefits. Now, the reason being is if you constantly are training your mind to focus its attention on something and then become aware of when your attention has moved off, you simply begin to notice that in your daily life more easily. So many of us, when we're kind of working away or scrolling on our phone or watching TV, we can be beginning to experience kind of a negative, challenging conversation within ourselves. It could be some overwhelm, some stress, some worry, some fear, some anxiety. But often we're very distracted by life that we don't actually become aware that it's happening till maybe 20 or 30 minutes down the line. Suddenly we're in a real state of stress and we're not feeling great, our body is in a real state of imbalance. And then we think, God, how do I get out of this? And it becomes very difficult. When we're in these mindfulness practices, we're training this ability to very quickly notice when our attention deviates. And the real value is when you're navigating your life, you suddenly become aware, oh, I'm going towards a state of stress, I'm going towards a state of worry or overwhelm or fear, and you pick up on it a lot quicker. The value is then, if you pick up on it, it then creates this window of opportunity to think, how do I respond to this? How could I respond in a way that's going to help my system and my mind get back into balance? Now, when we get distracted, when we're doing the meditation, so we're focusing, get distracted, realize we're distracted, move our attention back. When we get distracted, at first, what we can do is go, God, I'm so bad at this mindfulness thing, I can't focus, and we can create this difficult conversation within our mind. What you learn with time is the experience you're having when you're in the meditation is going to be far more enjoyable and far more comfortable if each time you get distracted, then you kind of respond to it with, that's kind of the nature of the human mind, I understand, my mind is just going to run away, and you very calmly and compassionately bring your attention back to what you're trying to focus on. And rather than kind of getting frustrated with yourself for not being able to focus, you give yourself gratitude and kind of kindness to your mind for successfully realizing that you got distracted. The value in this is, if you were trying to train a puppy to do a particular behavior, you were trying to get them to learn to sit. Each time they sit, what we know and what we all understand is you reward the behavior. You provide some positive reinforcement, some strokes, some love, a treat, whatever it may be, and the behavior reinforces. This is very similar to our mind. When we get distracted, if in that moment we move our attention back with kindness and compassion, it becomes easier for our mind to do this. The real value is that that's learning and teaching your mind to be a lot less reactive in those moments where your attention moves off. So say you're sitting there scrolling your phone, suddenly you start feeling stressed or overwhelmed, maybe you feel social comparison when you're scrolling your phone, whatever it may be. Often what we do at that moment is we react and we suddenly go into stress and our mind begins to process a load of thoughts. So maybe one thought comes in of the beginning of, oh, I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed. Then another one comes in to try and stop it. And then another one comes in because that doesn't successfully work, and we get more and more. And we get this reactive cycle of stressing out our mind. Now, if you have the ability to realize, oh, okay, my mind is moving into some difficulty here, and you have the ability to pause for a moment and think, rather than going straight into reaction, straight into fueling the fire of this negative or worrisome thought, I'm just going to pause. I'm going to accept the fact that's the nature of the human mind, just like you accept it when you're getting distracted in meditation. Accept that's the nature. And then instantly, and the more you practice this in meditation, instantly you're coming in with compassionate and kind conversation. So you're really becoming more aware of your thought processes, the directions in which they're going. And then in those moments where they go into a difficult direction, you suddenly have this innate response that's going to be so much calmer, more compassionate, and more conducive to getting your mind back into a good space. The next thing to consider is the self-talk angle. So we have this conversation we're constantly having within our mind. At times it can be pretty critical, judgmental. You may relate, you may have some conversations that come around your mind. In those moments, it can be difficult to know what to do because we're suddenly just fueled by this conversation, and we're not actually necessarily that used to having conversations with our own mind because we live in a very distracted world now. There's so much going on with the technology, the phones, the machines, everything. We're super distracted. So spending time in silence, actually just listening to that thought process, can be quite uncomfortable. The real value when you're considering self-talk is that when you're sitting there in silence and you're listening away to your mind, you're realizing you're distracted, you're focusing your attention, whatever it is, you're basically just building a better relationship with your mind. You're actually befriending your mind. If you think about, how would I build a relationship with someone I've just met? You just meet someone, you like them, you want to build a relationship with them, not necessarily a physical relationship, just any kind of friendship. What you would do is spend some time with them. Talking to them, conversing with them, understanding them, listening to them, sharing your thoughts. That's how you would build a relationship with someone. I really feel we need to think of our mind in the same way. We need to actually learn to build a better relationship with it. So if you perform these mindfulness practices, even for 2 or 3 minutes, if you're spending a few minutes there each day, building a better relationship, a better conversation with your mind, that just completely transfers to your normal life. So as you're navigating your normal life, you're just constantly building this better, more positive, more compassionate conversation with your own head. So what you're looking at, more awareness, more understanding of your thoughts, a better ability to respond during those challenging moments, and a transformation of your self-talk and that conversation that takes place in your mind. If you listen to this and think that could be quite valuable, it would be useful to navigate these difficult moments in a better way, the best process I would suggest taking yourself through is downloading an app called Insight Timer. They're a free app and they basically, unsurprisingly, have timers on there. And what you do is you can kind of click in the top left, I can put an animation on the screen. Click in the top left and you'll see timer. You can then set a timer for a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, with a nice sound and a bell at the end that's going to signify that it's finished. What I would do is put that timer on, begin the timer, put some headphones in or whatever you're going to do if you can find a quiet place. Shut your eyes, and then when you shut your eyes, first of all, just begin a pattern of slow breathing. You don't have to try and influence or manipulate your thoughts in any way at this moment. Just breathe in and out slowly, because that basically is going to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the calming system within our body. So we just start settling ourselves. We're very over aroused with our current world. Our bodies are kind of constantly on and quite heightened. A pattern of rhythmic breathing is just going to begin to slow the system down, begin to slow the thought process. Rhythmic breathing would just be breathing slowly in through the nose and then even slower out through the mouth. Do that for 30 to 60 seconds, whatever feels nice. Comfortably breathing away. Then once you've kind of settled the breathing a bit and you're feeling a little bit calmer in your space, I would ask yourself the question, what can I feel right now when I'm breathing? Are there any sensations in my body that I can feel whilst I'm breathing? Your body may then say, oh yeah, I can feel my tummy moving, or I can feel my chest going up, or I can feel the air coming into my nose. And you just allow that to be your focus of attention. As I say, you may focus on it for a moment, mind gets distracted, we then calmly respond and kindly bring our attention back. Just like training the puppy, our minds are very similar. You bring your attention back, you feel those sensations again. So then once you've done some breathing, you've asked yourself what you can feel when you breathe, move on to your body. Ask yourself the question, what can I feel in my body right now? Your brain and body might then say, oh, I can feel my feet on the floor, I can feel my legs on this chair, my back on this chair, my stomach, my face, whatever it may be, some sensations will arise. Focus on them for a moment, your mind will get distracted, bring it back. Once you've felt the body for a moment, maybe 30, 60 seconds, then ask yourself, can I hear anything in this moment? And you'll tune into your ears. I was seeing if I could hear anything then. Pretty quiet actually. However, you may hear some sounds. There might be some sounds outdoors, some birds, some cars, some people talking, whatever it may be. Allow your mind to focus on those sounds for a moment. Your mind will get distracted, come back to the sounds. And then once you finish the sounds, begin that slow pattern of rhythmic breathing again. Settle the system down, and then once you've enjoyed like a few rounds of that breathing, open your eyes again. So it's a really, really simple process. You breathe for a moment and settle the system. You ask yourself, can I feel anything when I'm breathing? Then, can I feel anything in my body? Then, can I hear anything right now? Then repeat the breathing for a moment and open your eyes. This practice has absolutely transformed my experience in my head. When I started doing mindfulness, I went to this module at university. I thought, God, this is impossible. I can't sit in silence. My mind is so distracted. I constantly wanted to get my phone out. But I kind of thought, because my intuition was saying this could be useful for you, I just kind of stuck at it. And now it's just completely changed. How I navigate stressful situations, those moments where I feel worried or stressed or anxious about anything, it's really helped my ability to focus when I'm doing work and trying to engage. It's helped me to be far more present in conversations I have with people. So I can't recommend enough just seeing what it may do for you. So download that app, Insight Timer, maybe starting tomorrow morning if you can. Put the timer on for like 2 or 3 minutes and take yourself through that cycle. I'll put it in the comment section so you can see what the cycle is if you want to remind yourself of it. And just try it on a daily basis or every other day and see how it begins to make you feel. Over time, I promise you'll definitely see some kind of change take place within your mind. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions after watching it, I'm very happy to answer them. And good luck with this practice. It really can make a massive difference, and I think mental health is pretty difficult at the moment with our current climate and current situation going on. Anything we can do to strive to make our experience better is incredibly valuable. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.